Happy Monday, everybody. Happy President's Day. Welcome to the Plug Talk Sports live show. This is episode 173. You're tuned in with the guys. We've got Jonka, we've got myself, Danny Torres, we've got Brandon H, and we've got Brandon L in the house. Full house tonight. Let's get into our normal stuff here as we do on the show. Uh, Plug of the week. Let's start with Brandon L. Talk to us, man. Give us something. What was your highlight of this past week?
So I know we're gonna get into it more tonight, but the U.S. men's hockey team.
Yeah.
I think the way they handled business against Canada, especially after their national anthem was literally booed. Um, I like how they didn't get distracted by it and just took full command over it. So definitely that's my definite plug of the week.
Brandon H.
Definitely have to say, honestly, if you guys were somewhere in Miami, there was always something to do. Miami Boat Show out in Coconut Grove. I actually went Coconut Grove Art Festival.
Yeah.
Super cool to go to. So my mom out there for it. Kind of expensive though. I'm not gonna lie to you. 2 tickets, $75, dude. Ridiculous. Let alone to even buy anything like a box square of art, 200. Just for your shelf. So
Miami, Brandon, come on now. You know.
all Miami stuff, but it was cool to see. Cool to see stuff.
Jonka, your highlight plug of the week.
You guys kind of took all of them, but it would have to be technically tomorrow is my birthday.
Yeah.
But we all celebrated it yesterday here at my house. Everybody here celebrated with me, and thank you for coming. I didn't say it myself, but it was fun. I had a one-piece cake and everything. I enjoyed it. Besides the All-Star game, which was basically atrocious, I had fun. So,
honestly, for me, it's gonna have to be the weekend, man. I mean, I worked, had games all this weekend, but sometimes you just like in the moment of living life, and I'm obviously tired, man. The past 2 weeks have been a lot of games. But I had a good weekend. I mean, at Jonka's house yesterday, even though I was really tired, had a good time celebrating his birthday. I saw him on Saturday morning. I went by his restaurant, had breakfast, really good breakfast. It was straight gas. Got me through that doubleheader I had on Saturday. Just a good weekend, overall weekend, man. Can't complain. And when you love what you do, nothing really to be mad about. Shameless plug. Brandon L. Talk to me, something bad.
Some probably the NBA All Star Weekend. Really, it's the rules have changed every February to where honestly last night I really did not understand what the hell was going on. I think Adam Silver kind of like lost it in terms of like what they want the All Star Weekend to really be about. I'm very intrigued to see what those ratings were last night because that was a total circus.
Brandon H.
Well, besides the sleep schedule I'm on right now,
I knew he was going to say that.
I had to say because again, Valentine's Day was a Friday or whatever. So for those who wasn't on last week's episode, but happy Valentine's Day, belated Valentine's Day. It's so weird because I open up IG, everyone's story is like, a year anniversary, another Valentine. You know what I mean? I'm just like, get away, man. Just get away. So this past week, it's been straight Valentine's on social media, man. Like it gets to me, a little bit of an ick. But call me a hater. But yeah, that's probably the bad part of the week.
Jonka?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Brendan L, bro. Like, I used to look forward to the All-Star game because it was always on the weekend of my birthday, or the day of. And I've lost like all want to even watch it anymore, bro. Like, I would prefer watching the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. And man, even they like CP3 and Wemby disrespected the skills contest because I feel like that's one of the best ones.
Right.
And they just feel like they just like it's a straight middle finger to all the fans and everybody from before, like, the OG fans that really watch like this league come to what it is now, bro. It's like it's absolutely sad. I hate to see it. I really do hate to see it.
For me, man, this weekend is this. I mean, this past week, really, it's kind of difficult to pick something bad that either happened or that I saw. But I will say one that I saw today. If you guys, I don't know what the heck is going on, but if you guys didn't see, there was a Delta Airlines plane that flipped over. In
My
Toronto.
my dad was telling me about it. I didn't see it yet, but it seems
Yeah,
like it's been a good year in terms of aviation.
there was high winds, runway was icy, and the wind happened to flip the entire airplane upside down. And
Jeez.
thank God nobody died, but there were 15 people hurt. But yeah, it's not been a good year for aviation to start out 2025.
Yeah,
no. It's a little everything. It's like every week now you're hearing about some sort of airplane issue. But yeah, that was the worst thing that I saw. But anyways, let's get into our first topic of the night, and it's the atrocious NBA All-Star Weekend that we were just talking about. We're gonna start with NBA Saturday night. The Stars chat. The Skills Challenge. Victor Wembanyama and Chris Paul were disqualified from the competition. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's one of the biggest controversies of the entire week. It is one of the biggest controversies because it's also like, has anyone even challenged the rule book of that competition? Yeah. You know what I mean? So all props to them. And knowing that it was Wembanyama, not even Chris Paul brainchild, but a Wembanyama brainchild to even do that in the first place. I thought it was pretty sweet. Again, wish that they were more competitive, right? Of course, we always say that for even the All-Star game and even the rest of it from dunk contests and overall anything. Let's be competitive at least about this. This is best against the best. But honestly, I thought it was pretty hilarious, though, and kind of a backfire against Adam Silver because Adam's always – let's see international against young against old, this and that. Like he does these weird competitions that just make no sense, just like the categorized players. I'm glad that he said, Wemby's going to be in the skill challenge. He's going to be, everyone wants to see what happens. And Wemby ends up doing that. Biggest middle finger to Adam Silver in the NBA there. So personally, because again, I'm more of a David Stern apologist. I'm not gonna lie to you. The last few years has made me kind of miss him, but I think it was a big win for the haters of Adam Silver.
Yeah, Jonka, go ahead. It looked like you were about to say something.
No, I'm just disgusted on this whole weekend, except for my birthday. But it's just like I find it really disrespectful, bro, because you got fans, bro, like us. Like we work hard for our money. And like, I'm not a parent or anything, but if I want to bring my kids to the All-Star game, I want to see them play with their favorite players or watch them play. They don't they show up to the court. They don't care. LeBron just decides to not want to play last minute. Okay, you screwed over another potential All-Star in Powell or whoever it is that wanted to come in. It's like, okay, we get it, bro. Like, you don't want to play. You don't want to try hard. All right. But, at least, like, give some sort of, like, illusion of effort to the fans that paid their hard-earned money and even flew in just to watch you guys. It's just – I hate it, bro. I hate it.
I think it's honestly more of just like a chit chat event.
Yeah.
Because especially when, obviously you don't want your star player to get hurt, right? I mean, so it's like, why are they going to give 130% defense or 120%? I mean, the goal is obviously to win a championship come June. So like, why are they going to take these 2-3 days to, potentially get hurt and then ruin an entire season, possibly future for your organization So it's like, honestly, I don't see. I see like every February, it's like, why even have like an All-Star weekend? I feel like it's honestly like a great way for each player to kind of catch up with each other because they obviously don't get to see each other as much during the regular season. So
actually, Kevin Durant had a tweet, a post on X, should I say, today where he said, "Why don't we just skip this whole thing and just give it the vacation time, and we'll be happy with that."
Yeah, I mean, sure.
I'm not gonna lie, I'd be happy with that.
Right, and I'm telling you, like going by what I said in the opening of the show, like what were these ratings like? I mean, like the Super Bowl had record ratings. There's no way in hell that this NBA All-Star weekend had record ratings. I mean, maybe the 3-point contest, especially Heat fans watching it because since Tyler Hero won, but that All-Star game last night, I'm telling you, 90% of the time I was like, why another commercial break? Another like intermission? Like what's going on? Like they're not even running. They're barely trying. They're like trotting back and forth. Like but it's because these guys are getting paid so much money. They don't want to. They're not going to risk getting injured, especially a Lakers or Celtics. Like they're like Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Like they're not going to risk getting hurt. So it's like I would totally be cool with taking that full week off and then just reset and come back next week and start playing again.
I'll tell you what, Paul George looks like he's having the time of his life.
Right.
But I gotta say though, because I think one of the biggest outtakes of this entire All-Star game, specifically the game, not the Saturday stuff, but the game itself, that Adam Silver was trying to do with this 4 tournament thing, as I said before, trying to categorize guys. Over 2.5 hours of commercials and breaks and Kevin Hart, basically a Kevin Hart stand-up special. And you have 30 minutes of actual basketball from Tyler Hero and Jalen Williams of the Western Conference of OKC. Their first ever All-Star experience in the All-Star game. And both of them came with the exact same quote. I wish it was a little different format. It is what it is. I wish I had a little more time out there. And then 8 whatever minutes on the floor for one of those guys. I mean, when you look at, like, in general, right? All-Star, Pro Bowl in the NFL, the NHL's All-Star is a little bit different because it goes by a lot of the divisions. Who really cares? Who really cares? Play the full game. Get these guys the full minutes. I mean, we're talking about Stephen Curry won the MVP of this, and he didn't even have 20 points combined in all his games. You know what I mean? Like, just play the full game. Who cares if it's boring, if they get 200 points for each team? I would honestly, compared to the last 3 years, I'd rather have both of these guys to shoot out the gym, no defense, and then to see Kevin Hart, Ernie Johnson, and Shaq and Chuck. I'd rather see actual ball than that. I'd rather see ball than a Mr. Beast episode. All right? I'd rather see, I mean, my biggest takeaway about this is that it's regressed ridiculous on a ridiculous level. And it's from Adam Silver's, I don't know, either obsession with tournaments or just because he's so obsessed with ratings that he's willing to try everything in the middle. And it's killed the game. It's killed the game. They lost their audience. I don't even know who their audience that the NBA is trying to reach out to.
Right.
I read apparently he's got an obsession with tournaments.
He does.
Adam Silver does not, like, he's trying to enforce, like, how do you say, like, these players to play, but like he doesn't really show that when it comes to these rules and all these tournaments. Like, I don't understand what is that you're trying to preach, bro. Because if you want them to play and you actually want them to put effort, okay, you're the commissioner, bro. You can force them to play. Like, you can take away certain things that, okay, they all right. If we don't do this, then we're screwed over on this, or we're screwed over on that. Maybe for the next, after certain contracts, if you are an all-star, you have to play. If you decide not to play, you're not eligible for so and so or whatever. Like, you have to perform in the all-star game, bro. Like, there's some sort of like clause in there that you have to include in that potential all-stars like contract, where it's like, all right, you know, you gotta play. Like,
if you're selected, you have to try.
Bro, it's like, what's the whole point? Okay, I got selected. All right, I'm an all-star. What are we turning into the NFL now, bro? Flag football?
Yeah, that's a whole I can't stand that either. What was the final score when the NFL had their flag football? It was like 70-65. Like it's nobody's
I
gonna
get
watch
it.
that.
From basketball. I mean, from basketball, anything could happen. Also, but it's more likely in football. Like, let's say, for example, me being a Cowboys fan, CeeDee Lamb's a Pro Bowler. It's not flag football. Let's say it's tackle, and this guy gets injured, tears an ACL in the Pro Bowl. I'm going to be pissed that he tore his ACL in the Pro Bowl.
Right.
Like, I'm going to be pissed over a meaningless game. So, I mean, everything has its pros and cons. So, there's only one guy.
I feel like that at that point, make it. Don't even make it a game. Make it like a festival where you can just meet your favorite players and have like booths set up, and then it's like, all right, pictures, autographs, whatever. Don't even play the challenges anymore. If you're scared of getting injured, then do like a Marlins fan fest, bro. You're just walking around taking pictures. That's basically what it is.
It'll be very hard to get players to opt in on that one. So I don't think they would opt in doing a.
I just want to see what the ratings are like for the NHL Foreign Nations face-off compared to NBA All-Star Weekend. That to me is a big takeaway. Like I really want to see who's watching that and who watched what took place this past weekend.
I can almost probably say that the Daytona 500 probably gave the NBA All-Star Game a run for its money.
Probably. There's a lot of big NASCAR. I mean, I personally know a lot of NASCAR fans. There's a lot. Yeah. So I would not be stunned if the Daytona 500 had more ratings. I definitely would.
I think the big news that it kind of bothered me a bit, and I kind of agree with what Kendrick Perkins said. LeBron James rolls into the pregame press conference 2 hours before the All-Star game, and a reporter asked him a question along the lines of playing in the game, and then he just dropped the bomb and said, "Oh yeah, I am not playing tonight." Like, if you knew this, someone else could have had the opportunity to play in this All-Star game, maybe for the first time. I didn't like that move at all from LeBron James.
What was the point of LeBron even really being there? I mean,
what was the point of him being there?
If you weren't gonna play, didn't Jay and Jonka showed us they took a team photo?
Yeah.
LeBron's in street clothes.
Yeah.
Like at least put the damn jersey on. I mean, make it like what did PR tell them? Hey, you don't have to wear one. Like, what's the point of that? But of course, it's gonna get clicks and views and because it's LeBron James. So it's.
Me and LeBron already are on the point of no return, bro. The guy is an absolute prick. Like, how do you show up 2 hours before the game, bro, and say, "Oh, I'm not gonna play"? Like, you knew you had to have known hours beforehand that you weren't feeling that great and that you weren't gonna play. Like, you basically, I don't know, you screwed over. You wanted for last minute ticket buyers or something to screw them over and get some extra money for the NBA or something, because that decision makes no sense to just announce it 2 hours before the game even starts. There's no etiquette, no respect, no nothing, bro. Like, LeBron, bro, no, I'm sorry. You're just making MJ fans, bro, just they'll not even like you even more.
And Brandon, what's up, Brandon H? What's up with we talked a little bit about this last night. What's up with the beef with him and Jaylen Brown? Said hi to everybody except
that is just people are just going around throwing things on the wall to see what sticks, man. That was, I don't know, man. Honestly, I can't even tell you. Maybe, I don't know, different ideological ideas. Who knows? But also, I do also want to say one thing though, because I think this is also a big part. I think the All-Star game, the selection matters. I think the MVP has lost his aura a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When people be like, "Oh, All-Star MVP, they'll be like, oh, okay, so he was the best really all around midway through the season, really best all around. Like Dwayne Wade when he got MVP All-Star, when his prime was going on. We can go back to that game, having like a triple-double and be like, well, this explains. Look at him going against, the top of the top, the best of the crop. Jason Tatum, 50 highest ever scored in an All-Star game. He ends up getting MVP. Okay, yeah, for sure. We can see this is where Tatum is really, one of the best of the best. And it goes on and on for like a Kevin Durant or whatever. Now it's like Curry won it. And I guarantee you no one's going to bring it up in a conversation if they ever have like comparisons of stats, accolades, anything like that. Like, and as Jonka said, like the most entertaining stuff right now, the competition wise, it's got to be like the 3-point shootout, the dunk contest. I mean, like stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I can hold weight to that. Like Zach LaVine, not a single soul is going to know exactly how many points he averaged throughout his career, but I guarantee you they're going to remember he beat Aaron Gordon twice. And again, 2016, very controversial. Aaron Gordon should have won that one.
I agree.
That was really sitting on the rim. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying, though. It's just the game itself, the All-Star game itself, has just lost its, it's, I don't even know, its value. It's just an undervalued piece of the entire weekend.
Like, players say it's about not getting injured. I call BS. I think it's more about their money. If it's all about their money, because if they don't get their money, they're just not going to play. It's about the money because long ago, like 10, 15 years ago, like you were saying, Brandon, with Dwayne Wade was there, Kobe was playing, everybody was actually giving some actual effort.
Yeah.
Nobody was complaining. But now, this new generation, because LeBron James is like so focused on not really playing to his full potential and like focused on making money and not trying to get injured, that enters into this new generation where
and half of the I'm telling you, like half of the generation though, they go into the All-Star weekend and they're all confused because like, oh, Adam changed it again. Like again with Tyler Hero, it's like, oh, it is what it is. I mean, that's the feeling that they're gonna have from these first-time All-Stars now, because it's like, oh, well, let's see what happens this time. They don't have that. Like growing up as a kid, you play in the All-Star game. They had games, like games, not even like regulation stuff, like the 40 points. So it's changed everything though, and unfortunately, that's what the generation's gonna have to deal with. It's gonna have to deal with not really experiencing a true All-Star experience.
We talked a bit about it last night, how like you used to be so excited to spend the weekend watching All-Star events, and now it's just kind of like, I'd rather do something else with my time. For Tyler Hero in the Miami Heat, he follows Glenn Rice, Jason Capono, Daquan Cook, and James Jones. I don't know what, but someone said something's in the water in Miami with this 3-point contest. And it came close because Buddy Hield was on fire, and he almost came back and beat Hero. And Hero almost only won by 1 point. So, I don't know. I didn't think he was going to win this. I didn't think he was going to win this competition, but he ended up pulling it off.
Do any of us think that Tyler Hero is secretly saying "screw you" to Jimmy Butler for winning the 3-point contest?
I think more. It's like Pat Riley cheering on Tyler Hero.
Right, that's right.
It's funny that he wins it in the new Warriors.
Oh, I didn't even think about
arena.
that. Right.
And who happens to play in that arena?
Right.
I wonder who.
Mac McClung.
That's a good point.
3 years in a row for McClung. I mean, if McClung was not in this dunk contest, it would have been really boring.
Hey, but I would say this though. I would say this year was much better though. Stephon Castle showed up. Stephon Castle, I don't even want to see nothing. Stephon Castle showed up, and McClung literally got the ball, and we're talking about a better over-the-card dunk than Blake Griffin. Yeah. Literally over the top, not the hood, over the top. So I think, again, not best all time, but like some of the dunks, better than the last 4 years. I actually like this year's dunk contest.
It was okay. It was okay, man. I think it was still there was no outside of McClung. There was no creativity.
McClung was the betting favorite by a pretty wide margin too. I mean, he was almost 2-1. That for a slam dunk, you normally it's like 50-50.
Yeah,
for him to be 2-1, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Brandon H, bro. I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't like Stephon Castle, bro?
I like Stephon Castle as a player, but for that dunk contest, you could just tell from the moment the Castle, that dude from Andre Jackson, and whatever the dude is from the Bulls, I was just like, yeah, this is gonna be boring. Like
No, yeah, the Bulls guy, I was confused about that. You know, I still don't understand how is John Morant not even included in this stuff.
How is John Morant in it? Zion, Anthony Edwards, man, maybe some other dude we don't even know about. Like, why isn't bro? Whatever. We're gonna just go in circles, bro. We're just go back. This is ridiculous, bro. Like the way the thing is that fans know what we want, and we're telling you what we want, and yet they're just like, huh? What? Like, what's going on? We don't know. We can't listen to you. Adam Silver is completely oblivious to the fact that you have these superstars that can jump through the roof, do 360 in game. Oh no! But then we're gonna play some no names. They just came from the G League in the All-Star game, like in the dunk contest. Come on.
So we're gonna get into the nation's face-off and the big game, which will be replicated. USA facing Canada in the championship game on Thursday night. That game happened this past weekend. Yep. And
what a game.
Look, it's going to get a little bit personal and then here for a bit. Look, as an American or for any citizen of the world, I would say, to have your national anthem booed just because of, in this case, politics. Obviously, in the sense of there's countries around the world, right, that have committed evil and stuff like that. Like that, you can understand. Like, hey, like what you guys are doing is not cool. Like you're killing people with it. But this is not the case here. You're booing the American national anthem. You're kind of just disrespecting everybody who has served this country, who's fought for this country, who has died for this country. You're kind of just mocking them by booing our anthem and just doing that. It's a bit childish from the Canadians. I will say I like Canada. I think Canadians are very nice people. But I just happen to disagree with them on this one for booing the American national anthem, especially someone that they border with. You know what? The Americans said, all right, you're going to boo our anthem? You guys want to make it personal? We're going to make it personal. We're just going to go out and whoop your asses at your own sport. And this is exactly what they did. I said something, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in attendance, and I'm happy he was to see that. And he put out a post on X. He's like, nothing like this country. And I quoted it on X, and I said, overrated team. You guys haven't even won a Stanley Cup since 1993, and hockey's your main sport. So I think you guys need to step it up a bit. But what a game, man. Just right off the bat, since it got personal, just fighting left and right.
How about three fights in 9 seconds?
I think my favorite was to see both the Tkachuks getting involved. It was amazing, especially Bennett against Brady Tkachuk. I bet you Matthew was like, I know how this guy's my teammate. I know how this guy operates. Give him a little left hook over here. But it was great. It was great hockey, and man, it just got me excited now for the rest of the NHL season.
Oh, I'm stoked to see Thursday night's game, and I honestly would love to see Matthew Tkachuk fight Sam Bennett. I mean, like Panthers fans all around the world would love that. But like I said, this tournament has lived up to every expectation. Has not disappointed, and I'm honestly so pumped for this upcoming Thursday night. I think it's going to be a hell of a game for all three periods and overtime if obviously necessary. But yeah, no, to touch on Danny's point, I think booing the national anthem was total like lack of maturity. And I mean, Florida's a hockey town now. So it's like all the people that were laughing at the Florida Panthers all these years, Florida whooped Canada's butt. I mean, if you really think about it, I get they did blow a 3-0 lead, but at the end of the day, when it mattered in Game 7, Florida came out on top. And I hate to say it's probably going to happen again this year. So I hope all the Canadians are ready to see another disappointing postseason.
Look, I absolutely love. Like, I'm a big history sports connection guy. I love when politics are combined with USA versus anybody. All right. Russia, Soviet Union against the US. I love that storyline. I love the whole France against USA basketball for the past few years. I love that Canada, for whatever reasons, got butthurt. And again, this is me just speculating, got butthurt because they don't want to be a 51st state. And they booed our national anthem. And that alone, again, this is a real rivalry, though. A real decades on decades rivalry. That brew the blood of, we just felt the fight. We just was ready to go. We were just ready to fight. I mean, again, as Brandon said, 9 seconds in, 3 fights, all of them the U.S. kicking ass. And then out of that, we let go of a goal, but 3 unanswered. Right there in Ontario. And the best part about it, this rematch will be in Boston on Thursday, 8 p.m.
Right.
I kid you not, every eye will be peeled on that. Whenever it is a U.S. versus anything, it doesn't even matter what sport. Like hockey, in this case for the 4 nations, they're smart though, because everyone knows, especially in the world of hockey, the question is, are the best players Russian? They Finnish, Swedish, from America? It's so much talent from especially these 4 nations. So much talent that like the hot bread is just making fire right now. And again, of course, the United States right now losing against 2-1 to Sweden. But besides that point, this will be a big game Thursday. Great game on Friday, though. I think if anything, this solidifies a little bit more about what we might see in the Winter Olympics coming in 2026.
Oh, yeah.
This will be huge, especially if again, hopefully Crosby's there in good health. I know the guy's aging himself for Team Canada. But McDavid obviously will be there. Tkachuk's obviously going to be there for the Olympic 2026. This is a great preview of that.
Hey, it's maple trees versus money trees over here, buddy. And obviously, we won that, bro. We won the fights. We won the game. We took the parlay. We won them all. We cashed out. So. What we winning over here, bro? We won on this side, 51st state. Now we number 1, bro. That's what it is. Nah, bro. But Canada was flawed for doing that to the USA. They effed around and found out. They lost 3 fights. We scored 3 goals unanswered. They thought they were living high after that first goal, but didn't last long. Hey, what do you want more to say, bro? USA, bro. Like. They messed around.
Thursday is going to be must-watch television. Like I'm really, really excited. And I can't wait to see the ratings on that championship game alone. Like that has to be record-breaking, especially everything that obviously took place Saturday. It's gonna be really interesting to see.
Where is the championship game being held?
TD Garden, Boston.
On American soil.
Hotbed of the revolution.
On American soil. Those three words. On American soil.
If it was up to me, I would have placed it at American Bank Arena.
I mean, hey, I would have went. Sign me up.
That would have been so bro, that would have been crazy.
I love like intense competition. I love rivalries. If I was in person for that and you were gonna boo my like that would have honestly just like fired me up 100 times more. See, I love stuff like that. Like come on, man. I'm ready. Let's go.
How happy were you guys seeing Connor McDavid getting absolutely rocked?
Oh, I enjoyed it every single second of it. I mean, I know this might be a little off topic, but did you see after Edmonton lost Game 7 the way he reacted inside of the locker room?
Yep.
Like every Panthers fan loved that. Was their dream moment right there. Like that was the key anyway. That whole Stanley Cup final was shut down him, and you probably have a chance. And they shut him down for the first four games, 3 games really. He took control of Game 4, 5, and then obviously a little bit in Game 6, and then Game 7 couldn't do anything.
So, switching topics here, switching sports. Before we talk about specifically the topic, it is about the Miami Marlins. Brandon, how was the Marlins Fan Fest event? Of course, it was a great video that we put out. Brandon was there for us covering. How was it? How was the vibe, the energy? How was just Fan Fest in general?
No, I'll ask you. Actually, really incredible. I haven't seen that place abuzz with Marlin jerseys really since they moved downtown Miami. So, and again, as Danny said, definitely follow everything for socials, Plug Talk Sports. Be able to find that package right there. But I definitely went down there, asked a few questions to a few diehard fans, some from 1993, some from, literally they found a shirt from the vintage store and said, I love it. Everyone wearing teal. The vibes are great. The only thing I had was that the announcements so late in the night, and the biggest buzz was, the new jerseys, the new city.
I knew you. Yes, I'm so glad that you literally brought that up.
Yeah. Because I was seeing a lot of rumors, a lot of reports, because, again, with the Sugar Kings, they kind of retired that after last season. There was a lot of talk about Havana Club or like Havana something. There was going to be a jersey idea that would be, again, still connecting to Cuba and the little Havana roots that are right there with Lone Depot Park. But they didn't announce that. They announced when it was coming out, I believe May 3rd. But a lot of other big announcements, but of course, we'll be talking about that soon. But Marlins Fest itself, fanatic. Estimated over 18,000 people attended Marlins Fest, according to the numbers.
Yep.
So very successful for the franchise. And again, a franchise that didn't really do anything in the offseason and still were able to bring people in for Marlins Fest for a free event.
So Peter Bendix and Bruce Sherman out in Jupiter today during spring training happened to say, people were complaining that we didn't spend cash, but we did. We spent cash on this new guy we just brought in and a bunch of minor league deals. So we did bring in a bunch of people, from the market. And I'm just sitting there like, this is the difference between the Marlins organization and the Dodgers organization.
I mean, look. Nobody wants to see the Marlins win more than us 4, right? I mean, they're projected this year to win 63 games, right? And Bruce Sherman told members of the media today, we're going to win more games than
people expect. Yeah.
Which automatically brought me to when Chris Greer told local media, you're probably more worried about it than we are when addressing about the team's offensive line. I just want Bruce Sherman to know that if the Marlins struggle heavily this season, I'm going to come back to you and say, why did you say that in Jupiter? You're telling me that this team is going to win more games than I hope this team goes out there this year and wins 80 games. I mean, if that's how you're going to talk and say, and him also saying that they didn't spend big free agent money, but they spent free agents on minor leaguers and like we had mentioned, Cal Quantrill. But it's like, I don't understand why you say we're going to win. Like, he's solely optimistic that this Marlins is very, very young and inexperienced Marlins squad. They're in a very tough division. I mean, they have the Mets, the Phillies, and the Braves. And Washington's getting very good too, and they're going to be good soon. The Marlins are definitely projected to finish last this season. I mean, I wish them the best. I really, and nobody wants to see them win more than us 4. I I've been starving for a very good baseball team for years and years. And I one more thing too, couldn't definitively say that right-handed pitcher Sandy Alcantara will be on this team. I mean, he couldn't. Well, Will Manso asked Bruce Sherman and Peter Bendich, and he couldn't. He said, I'm glad Sandy's on our team right now, and we get it that he is our franchise piece, but he could not sit there and definitively say, yes, Sandy is going to be a Marlin for the foreseeable future, and we are not going to trade Sandy. Like, none of them, but both of them did not say that. So that concerns me. I mean, and yes, opening day is going to be immaculate in terms of Paul Steens and Sandy. That's probably the best opening day matchup on the schedule. Like, no question about that. But for you to sit here and say that you can't definitively say that Sandy's going to be on the mark, I mean, I'd be frustrated as hell after watching that press conference today, which was about 8.5 minutes. I'd be totally frustrated from that. But again, I'm not shocked because they've been wheeling and dealing guys in and out. We saw what happened to Jake Berger. So it's obvious that any guy on the Marlins right now is probably tradable.
I mean, who's their leader of the team right now aside from Sandy? It's literally Griffin Conine.
Yeah. And this is Griffin's first full season.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see if Griffin's going to take it out to the next step and become that, ultimate leader that his father was when he was here. But it's listening to that press conference today, it honestly just bugs me because it's like, how can you sit here and say that Sandy, like, you should have looked at Will and said, yes, like he's our piece. I'm not trading him. He's staying here. He's going to be our veteran leader, our main leader, and neither of them did. And I would love somebody to send me a message and say that he did say it off camera, but I'm going by what he said on camera. And what he said on camera was that he can't say that Sandy is going to be here. They traded away Arise. They traded away Berger. They traded away Jazz Chisholm Jr. So it's like any player right now on the Marlins, in my opinion, and from what I see, tradable.
Yeah, and again, I'm not surprised at the comments at all. Again, he didn't say outright, we're planning to trade Sandy. We're planning to trade Perez. He didn't go out and be like, we're shopping guys. I'm not surprised. This is a team that I'm expecting to be tanking for something. Because why else you got all these different prospects out here? And then you have Sandy right in the mound.
Right.
What, is he going to waste his career around? Not saying that the Marlins are going to be a waste this season. However, I just don't see that if Sandy wants to win right now, I don't think Miami's the best place to win right now in Sandy's career. And still a lot ahead of his career. It's not like he's in his deep 30s or anything like that. But if I'm the Marlins organization, it was either you go through the offseason and you get a bunch of big pieces around Sandy and around your bullpen, and you think, well, if we have this solid pitching group, let's try to figure out defensively what we can do. They didn't do that. So what my best guess is, let's go throughout this season. Let's see who gets on a little run here, and let's see how much we can sell them for when the price is hot. That's what I'm assuming is going to happen right now for the Marlins throughout this year. I mean, forget the record of 60 wins, 70, a playoff spot. Playoffs? I mean, again, season didn't even start yet, let alone spring ball in Jupiter. Not even the first pitch has been thrown yet. I'm telling you right now, they will shop guys throughout this roster. Half of this roster, and this is a guarantee, half of this roster will not be here by August. That's a guarantee in my mind.
I mean, you have to look at that starting lineup. That starting lineup to me, I mean, that has to be one of the youngest, inexperienced starting lineups. And believe me, they do have a lot of exciting players. Xavier Edwards, Connor Norby, Griffin Conine. But it's like it's not an opening. They're not throwing out a 90-100 win opening day lineup. But that is, I want fans to know that because I don't want them to go to Lone Depot Park come March 27th and think that this team is going to win 95-100 games this season. It's most likely not going to happen unless they go on this unbelievable, shocking run, and it's one of the craziest runs in sports. because of how young and inexperienced this opening day lineup is going to be. 60, I mean, even 60 wins has to be like the Marlins' match this season.
I think the last time the Marlins were, exciting is when they moved into Lone Depot in 2012 when Ozzie Guillen was set manager. And there was rumors in that offseason about Albert Pujols maybe joining the Marlins. I think that's the last time everyone was like glued to the TV and like, oh my God, the Marlins.
Well, yeah, because it's the first year that they opened up a brand new stadium and renamed the organization. And even then, they started hot. Weren't they in first place in like June? Yeah. And then they just totally crumbled. And then Ozzie Guillen's Fidel Castro comments. And from there, it was just horrible from there.
I've already said how Bruce Sherman and Peter Bendix can possibly walk around this city and not have been assaulted yet. Makes no sense to me. Because, like, straight up, these two are single-handedly destroying a team that has so much potential. Just because in the city that the team is in, you can get so much talent here if you just ran it correctly. Like, holy crap, bro. Like, you've got Dominicans, you got Nicaragua, you got Puerto Rican, you got Cubans, you got Americans, you got Russians, you got everything here in Miami. Yet somehow, some way, you cannot get the talent to stay here. You somehow can't figure out the money, even though the stadium is taxpayer paid.
He's got to watch that movie with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill, Moneyball.
Bro, it's really good.
They need to watch that for sure. So the Miami Marlins organization have created their own Hall of Fame. And the inaugural Hall of Fame starts out with, and I want you guys to let me know if you think there's someone on there that shouldn't be on there or someone that should be on there that's not. So here are the first Hall of Famers in this new Hall of Fame for the Marlins. Jeff Conine, of course, Mr. Miami Marlin, two-time World Series champion, two-time All-Star, and is the only player to have been a member of both the club's World Series winning teams. And next we have the manager from 1997, Jim Leland. He's a member of the National Baseball Hall of Fame, World Series champion, and three-time Manager of the Year, and two-time National League and one-time American League. And led the Marlins, of course, to their first World Series championship in 1997. Here's another legendary Marlins manager, Jack McKeon, defeated the New York Yankees in 2003 in that World Series. Two-time National League Manager of the Year. Obviously, against that World Series in 2003 was its second. And again, defeating the Yankees. Then we've got Luis Castillo, a World Series champion in 2003, three-time All-Star, three-time Gold Glove winner, and is the most tenured player in franchise history and holds numerous club records. What do you guys think? Is there someone that should be on there that should be replaced, or are you guys fine with those selections?
Those four are the most undisputed guys to make that first inaugural class for those Legends of Marlins. So I'm telling you, though, from, again, as you said before, we're talking about guys who have winning history with a franchise, probably the only real World Series winning history of the Miami Marlins history. I mean, we're talking about two managers that shaped the franchise. When you look at a throwback Marlins video, it's 03 or 1997. And it has both of the managers, 97, one going around the outfield at the old Joe Robbie Stadium when it was used to be called, and another one in 2003 in New York, smoking cigars in that bullpen.
Yep.
All right. Don't even need to mention names. If you're a Marlin fan, you've seen the photos already. You've seen the videos millions of times.
I'm envisioning it in my head right now.
Exactly. I don't even got to tell you the managers I'm even talking about. We know which ones we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. We see the beards. We see the long cigars and the glasses. This is the best class. And I'm glad that both of those managers were put in the same class as well. Especially their age. I'm glad they did this now.
Yeah, I 1,000% agree. I think all four names are definitely well-deserved. And I honestly think why are they doing this now? Why didn't they do this 10 years ago? Right?
Mhm.
I mean, Jeff Conine is two-time World Series champion, two-time All-Star, and honestly, one of the most humble guys that I've ever met. I mean, usually, like a lot of these players they like to brag about the money they have and the career accomplishments that they've had. Jeff Conine is as good as they come, very very humble, and I couldn't think of any other name to replace Mr. Marlin. I mean, he is the he is Jeff Conine, and if you grew up watching the Marlins, everybody knows Jeff Conine. But it's not who he is on the field. I want people to know who he is off the field too, because a lot of these fans don't get a chance to see these guys off the field. And I can tell you, Jeff Conine is the most humble person that I've ever met off the field too.
You guys don't think that Miguel Cabrera should have gone on this list?
He's got next year. Now, also another thing though, I think that's also kind of crazy. Only four were announced. And it's not like they're gonna have like a ring of honor like the Dolphins do at Hard Rock Stadium right now. Like it's a class. Why only 4? They could have gotten maybe a 10 in history, 5 maybe. So knowing that this is gonna be, and again we're assuming because this is the inaugural, but every year 4 new members every single year. The real question is who's gonna come and win? Is Ramirez gonna come win? Right? And again, I hate to put this out there because it's very controversial because he didn't do a lot with the Marlins, but he is a huge figure of this franchise. Would Fernandez be potentially in the class later on down the line, and how soon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because his impact.
I think yes, just because of the entire impact on the community. I don't think they're gonna. I mean, you're not gonna forget what he did, but I don't think you're also not gonna forget what he did on the baseball field too, and the way he inspired millions of young boys and girls, not only in Miami but around the world. And had he still would have been here today, he probably would. I personally think he'd probably still be playing. I mean, let's not forget Jose Fernandez had, I believe, right at or near 200 strikeouts before the All-Star break. And that to me is unheard. I mean, he probably could have reached that 300 strikeout plateau, like the way he was going. And it was almost like Jose Day every time when it was named Marlins Park. It was like you knew he was going 7 innings, 8 innings, probably maybe would allow a run or two. Like Jose Fernandez at home was unbeatable. It was like back at Pro Player Stadium or Sun Life Stadium or Josh Johnson. It was like when Josh Johnson had a home start. It's like you weren't beating him at home.
Yeah, but exactly that's what I mean though. Like later on down the line, those will probably be the real questions. Like when does Dawson come in? When Hanley, Fernandez, as we mentioned before,
Giancarlo Stanton. I mean, there's thousands of names that.
So just 4 to be announced in the first class. If they end up again, they should probably push to at least 8 names for the next class next year. Because 4 year by year, it's gonna kill a lot of Marlin fans. It's gonna kill a lot of Marlin fans to see who they push ahead. So
we also have to recognize too, that 2003 season, Jack McKeon wasn't the manager to start. Remember, Jack Hornberg got fired, and Jack McKeon took over. And the way Jack McKeon was able to lead that clubhouse and win a World Series when the Marlins were heavy underdogs. And remember, they were as low as 10 games below 500. Like that 2003 Marlins team doesn't get talked about enough. That was a underdog-like mentality that they fought every game, that they knew that they were going to win every game. And that's why I love to see guys from the 97 and 03 because I'm like, especially 2003, because you guys were not favored to win. And the way they just blocked out all that negative noise and took down a very talented New York Yankees squad. But I want people to know Jack McKeon was not the guy that started off there. So that to me is more impressive. And it's the reason why he's going to be inducted.
I mean, it's kind of like, very quickly, it's kind of like 2006 Miami Heat where Van Gundy got relieved.
Right.
Pat Riley came in and ended up winning a championship. Switching gears here, we got the final 5 minutes of the show tonight. The Miami Dolphins released Raheem Mostert, Kendall Fuller, and Durham Smythe. What do you guys think about that?
I think why is Giancarlo laughing? I was getting into it, and then Giancarlo took a step back. Well, I mean, I will say this. These are moves that I thought were going to happen. I spoke to some. I'll just say people that I know that work in the organization. That this was probably going to happen because Mostert, age-wise, and they led on Devon Achane for most of last season, if not all, really. And they drafted Jalen Wright. And I think, Raheem's season this – why are you guys laughing?
Because, man, it's just like the moves that the Dolphins make.
Well, but I mean, get used to it because we love and bleed and die for our South Florida sports teams. But I mean, listen, I've met Raheem Mostert off the field again, just like Jeff Conine, a very humble dude. I really wish him the best wherever he does lead up if he decides to continue playing football. He had a wonderful 2023 run here. A record-breaking 2023 season. Injuries kind of downed his play this past season, but it's just moves that you have to make to get under the team needs a lot of needs, and I don't need to sit here for 10 minutes and discuss that. We all know what this team needs, but they have to get under that cap, and I think to start doing that, they're gonna have to start making small moves like that. I think Durham Smythe, it's like, how often was he going to see the field with the way Jonnu Smith is playing? They probably want to see more from Julian Hill. I know Dolphins fans love to give up on him because he's a penalty maker consistently, but you got to give the guy a chance. I mean, Durham Smythe's been here since 2018. He saw 3 head coaches. So it's I'm not really shocked. I guess maybe you can say Kendall Fuller was a little bit of a shock because they brought him over last off. Well, look, they brought him over last off season. The Dolphins have really no boundary corner right now opposite Jalen Ramsey. Unless you could throw me a name right now, but I'll probably fire back and say no.
Look,
Smith, it's not Kendall, it's not Cater Krohu, and it's not Ethan Bonner.
Look, I'm gonna make this really quick. 30 seconds when did this. One, Smythe, any tight end that's not named Jonnu Smith can definitely be off this roster. And also Hill, the guy says a lot of strength, great blocker, just can't really understand how to not hold. All right. And then also on the other end, Fuller and Poyer, and I hate to put this example, terrorists in the secondary. Terrible, horrible. And last but not least, Raheem Mostert, shout out to him. Single season record for the Miami Dolphins of rushing touchdowns. And then obviously with Devon Achane, a little bit different with the offense from McDaniels. So he just doesn't fit the system, and it makes sense. That's a quick 30. Love the moves. I'll leave it at that.
Can you guys tell me, besides obviously Tua, Hill, Waddle, what other player takes up a lot of the cap because
Bradley Chubb.
Yep.
Bradley Chubb?
Yeah.
I would consider getting rid of Bradley Chubb then. You got to make something happen, bro, because Javon Holland, he's out.
I don't.
They can franchise tag him. He can easily franchise. Even if he likes it or not, they can franchise tag Holland. Plus, I don't think Miami's going to lose sleep over losing Holland. But honestly, Bradley Chubb is that guy when healthy. And unfortunately, him and Jalen Phillips are one of the best duos in pass rushing in the NFL. But again, unfortunately, in a hospital bed for half of the season. But honestly, I really can't really imagine Holland staying as a Miami Dolphin throughout this year, especially if he wants to get paid like that. The best thing you can do is just franchise tag him and pray that he wants to hope to get a big contract at the end of the year with Miami and ball out for the upcoming year. So that's about it.
Though, Brandon, let's say the Dolphins try to franchise tag him. Do you think he does take that?
I mean, again, as I said before, you can only hope that he does to try to prove himself for a bigger contract going on to the next season. But that's, again, the hope as a Dolphin fan.
It just feels like the Dolphins, bro, whenever they have, right now they have their offense settled in, but, either, defensive back or the offensive line or the defensive line, there's always something that's a problem with the team.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
called a medical room.
that one problem, and then that one exact problem is what screws
What do you
them
say?
over.
I didn't even catch what Brandon said.
It's
The
called the
medical
medical room. I don't know if you guys remember the last few years. Guys are just not healthy. Like we had Tyler Huntley taking snaps in shotgun, all right? And then what is it? Jalen Phillips on a primetime Monday game out for the season in the not even week 5. We got main primetime guys for the Dolphins.
Dolphins could have had Andy Dalton in shotgun, but decided to roll with Skylar Thompson. So,
yep. Yeah. That's gonna do it for us tonight in episode 173. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay tuned to all of our social media. Again, we appreciate all of you guys, and have a good night.
Support the troops.